Amy Schumer just posted a video of Martin Luther King as a sort of gotcha to be like, look, even Martin Luther King would have been on my side. Almost immediately, Bernice King, Martin Luther King's daughter, was like, my father would have called for a ceasefire and release of hostages, some sort of justice. I think it should be recognized that whenever a certain type of person invokes Martin Luther King's words, it is to incite more violence and justify more violence. It is never for any other reason other than that. Everyone already knew Amy Schumer sucked, but Jesus.
I think there's small things that men do, that masculine things that hurt them, like not getting cozy.
That's such a good point.
Can men get fucking cozy? Can we stop pretending everything needs to be tough? I have 6 freaking pillows, a weighted blanket, AC a bumping, Twizzlers in my side drawer.
I love it. It's true. Why don't men want to? Do you think it's like if you're cozy, then it means it's like you're too comfortable and there's something feminine? Is there something feminine about being cozy?
You can't get up and fight someone instantly.
Because you're too comfortable.
Imagine an intruder breaks in.
Right. Your weighted blanket. Like you can't move.
One thing I've had to learn the hard way as a trans woman is that you should never, ever trust the word of strangers online to tell you if you pass or not. I know it's tempting, but the honest truth is that most people, especially if you ask other trans people, they're going to lie in one of 2 directions. If you pass, they're going to tell you you don't. If you don't pass, they're going to tell you you do. I heard this story, and I don't know how true it is, but it's the story of a transphobic cis woman going onto a passing thread on 4chan. And she's like, I'm going to post a photo of myself, and all these transgender women are going to be so jealous of my natural beauty. But they told her she didn't pass. A cis woman. They told her, this cis woman, that, oh my God, girl, you're a brick. It just goes to show you that you really shouldn't trust the word of strangers online as to whether or not you pass. The only thing that can really tell you whether or not you pass is your real life experiences based around trying to pass. And if you constantly surround yourself with people who tell you that you pass perfectly and then you go outside into the real world and you don't, it's going to be a really, really painful experience. And I'm speaking from personal experience here.
Let's get dressed. Today, I want to become my favorite video game character, Princess Peach, the icon herself, and I'll be channeling Peach from Smash Bros. I even put my hair in extensions so my hair could be just as full as she has. And I have just the dress to start off the look. It's from Lace Made, it's the perfect peach pink, and it's gonna act as our base. Now the dress is missing a high collar, so I'm gonna layer this lace button down underneath the dress. To close up the collar, I'm using this pearl pin, and now to hide the buttons, I'll tighten the neckline of the dress with the built-in ribbon. Now the dress is missing some poof, so let's bring in a longer petticoat to fill it out. I also love how it peeks out at the bottom with a lacy trim. To really give Princess Peach, we need puff sleeves, and I have the perfect corset from Lace Made to do the job, but I want to be extra cinched, so I'm layering this waist corset to really give me some shape. A Peach look needs satin white gloves, and for shoes, I'll use pink satin Mary Janes paired with lacy socks. The dress is almost there, but something's missing. A bustle. I don't have one, but I have an idea, using a pink silk robe. I'll pin it at my waist, tuck the sleeves in, and then I'll tie it in the back and hide the tail underneath. And that's it. It works. It looks like a bustle. I'm forgetting something. I know. The iconic blue pendant. And of course, Peach's crown to the Mushroom Kingdom. Now let me just grab my parasol and my super mushroom and the look is complete.
I give you Her Royal Highness Princess Peach of the Mushroom Kingdom, serving with all her grace and elegance.
Bowser, catch me if you can. I dare you. Only thing missing is my little man with a big mustache. But bye now.
Stop me if you've heard this before. Finland, a progressive place for trans people, is suddenly feeling like they've made a mistake and has to pull back on providing gender-affirming care. Now, this is an absolute lie. Finland actually has never been all that progressive for trans people, especially for gender-affirming care. But this is a favorite claim by the far right in America. And this claim was echoed just yesterday by Dr. Kaltiala, one of Finland's chief psychiatric practitioners of gender-affirming care in the country. She wrote an article for Bari Weiss's The Free Press, stating that she was a progressive pioneer for care and now she's regretting it. Except, this is full of lies, and her patients contradict those reports. Let me tell you about the dark side of gender-affirming care in Finland. In a report first published by Care Raja, they solicited comments from people who have gone to this gender clinic in Tampere University Hospital, run by Dr. Kaltiala, and what they found was horrifying. For instance, a trans girl was asked about her sexual habits as well as about how she felt about having to always be a real boy. A transgender boy was told that he would never grow up to be tall enough to be trans, and in fact was kicked out of the program, potentially because of that. Transgender men and women were expected to show up, completely displaying stereotypes of their gender identity. If not, they would be kicked out of the program. They were expected to go through this thing called real life experience, where you would have to first live socially as your gender before getting gender affirming care, except they even applied this to trans people that had been living as their gender since they were 6 years old. It gets even worse. The clinic would put trans people through a form of gender exploratory therapy where they would explore every possible cause for being trans other than genuine transness. They would do this for years until the trans person aged out of the clinic. They would allow very few trans people to actually transition in the clinic. And in fact, whenever one patient was getting so frustrated with wait times that their family took them to a private doctor legally and got a prescription, the clinic actually contacted authorities and Child Protective Services. Now, no legal action was ever taken because this was not illegal in Finland, but the clinic then cut off their care. Finland has never been a progressive place for trans care. It certainly wasn't whenever they had mandatory sterilization requirements up until 2017. And Dr. Kaltiala has never been a dispassionate researcher of trans care. She certainly wasn't whenever she appeared in a podcast by GenSpect with Stella O'Malley, who calls transgender girls fetishists. So next time that you hear that Finland was this progressive place for trans care, now you know exactly what was going on in the lead medical clinic in Finland and what is still going on today.
The reason that you believe that I haven't been talking about Palestine is because every time I've tried to do it on my other account, it's been severely limited. My largest video on my largest account only reached 100,000 people, and by the time I had gone and posted a third time, it only reached 5,000 viewers. Within 24 hours of being posted, I received 3 strikes on my account and 3 tentative strikes for user-reported branded content, which was not branded. So I moved over to this account where I was able to reach hundreds of thousands of people more despite having a significantly smaller platform. And the reason I'm making this video isn't to send this creator any hate, so please just leave them alone. I'm just addressing this because I've seen multiple comments like this. But I want to open up the larger conversation about censorship that's been going on in regards to discussing what's happening. Multiple larger creators have been banned. The vast majority of my friends that are posting about this are 1 strike away from getting their account banned and are consistently having content removed. The only thing that's going to remedy this is if we reach out to TikTok and we demand that they start reinstating videos about what's going on. And we demand that they start reinstating the accounts that they've deleted. I also want to point out that off of this app, I've been working on a Discord server where we can come together, post resources, share information. I'm just waiting on that to be finished so that I can make it go public. But as soon as I have an update, I will share that with y'all. And if you want some accounts that can provide you with resources or history, they are linked in the videos before this. Free Palestine.
I'm disappointed. I feel like you all have let me down. My community as a trans person, my audience. Jory is a very good friend of mine. She's a black, trans, indigenous person. And the reason why I bring up her identity is because, boy, you guys like to treat her a whole lot different than you like to treat me. Both of us co-hosted a 30-hour live stream where together we doubled our goal of $1 million for gender-affirming care for Point of Pride to $2 million for Point of Pride. And in the last 2 hours, we went for $250,000 more dollars, and the majority of that money was going to Point of Pride to be able to hire a full-time employee, the very first full-time employee, by the way, to have some infrastructure to handle the money we just raised for them. And a little bit of that money, at the very tail end, was for Jory's FFS and for my breast augmentation. Now, the reason why I bring all that up is because we made it very clear at that very last 2-hour mark that any money after that point would go to Jory's FFS. We made that very clear. We said it on our landing page. When you go and donate, you could not donate without seeing that. You saw it on our website. You saw it on Point of Pride's website. And they tacked my breast augmentation on there because Jory said, and I repeat, I will not have an FFS if it's not for mercury. And that meant a lot to me. It was a really sweet thing she did. She did not have to do that, and she did it. And I owe her a lot. I haven't done it yet because I'm a procrastinator, but I love her so much. See, here's the thing that frustrates me more than anything, is that when we were doing this fundraiser, no media anywhere wanted to include Jory. Her and I were co-hosting this, and no one wanted to include Jory. Every major news article that came out would just put her on the side, barely gave her any attention, but they put me front and center. And then afterwards, almost nobody sent me hate. A very few amount sent me hate, but Jory got the most of it. None of the support, all the hate. We raised enough money to help 12,000 trans people access gender-affirming care. That's binders, gaps, HRTs, and surgeries. We did that. We were up for 28 straight hours to help 12,000 people to access gender-affirming care. And at the very end, after we got consent from the 5,000 people who were actively watching us on live stream at the time, and after we got consent from the nonprofit organization that's been around for 10 years to do it, then we did it. And I know if this upsets you, I get it. You have the right to be upset, okay? But when you are upset with Jory and only Jory, and you don't point any fingers at me, when I am doing almost the exact same thing that she is doing, boy, does that feel rather pointed. And I'm sorry, it upsets me. It upsets me a lot, y'all. She didn't have to do this. I asked her to come on board because I knew her voice mattered. I knew she was the voice we needed in our community to help me get to that high-ass goal to help as many people as we did. She didn't need to. She didn't have insurance. She had no money to herself. The hell, she came here. She was broke. Well, she still came here, and she put herself at risk and disproportionately getting affected by all this and getting disproportionate death threats because of all of this because she believed in what we were doing. And I want her to feel the love. She deserves to feel the love, so give her the love. Support her like you support me. You don't question my integrity. Why are you questioning hers? If I work with her, if I put my name alongside her, and my entire team of people put their names alongside her, and we stand proudly, and you trust me, don't you trust her? I hope this was enough to make you understand. I send you my love. Ugh.
I love the way it feels to be a hater. Something so sweet about thinking that I'm better. Just to wake up every morning, lay in bed, and somehow never ever rise to the occasion, or even hold up under pressure. But we all know that it doesn't even matter if I waste away and no one thinks I'm clever. Just as long I've got my ego and the devil.
As an autistic person in a protracted state of burnout, I get a lot of pressure from the people around me to get back to normal, a lot of encouragement that when this is all over, I'll be able to get back to normal. And I should say two things before I go any further. Autistic burnout is not really burnout. It's stress-induced neurological decline. And two, when people say they want me to get back to normal, what they really mean is they want me to get back to being productive under capitalism. They want me to be normal under capitalism in the way that capitalism defines being a productive member of society. It's just so crazy that people are like, but once you get through this, you'll be able to get back to normal. When I'm like, when have I ever been normal? When have I ever functioned in the normative, expected ways? When have I ever been productive to the extent that capitalism demands from me? I have never been succeeding at this. I think the best way to illustrate this is by pointing to my senior year of college, which is the time in my life when I was doing the best that I have ever been doing. There were a lot of good things going on. I was really involved in on-campus extracurriculars, and I really enjoyed that. I had a good social life with great friends, and I was doing well academically. I maintained a perfect GPA that year. That's the only year in my academic career that I've ever done that. At the same time, I think I did laundry twice that entire year. I did not clean my home. My poor roommates were so flexible and so patient with me, because even though I was doing all of these things that I loved and wanted to be doing and was excited about doing, I had no spoons left after doing them to do the basic things that I needed to take care of myself and my home. I was doing basic care tasks only, like showering, brushing teeth, brushing hair, right? The things that I needed to do to like go out in public and be considered presentable. And truly, I believe the only reason I was succeeding as much as I was academically is because it was my senior year. I had a lower course load because I'd filled a lot of my requirements already, and most of the classes that I was taking were in my major or associated with one of my special interests. So they were all things that I was really passionate about. And despite that, I would still have terrible anxiety attacks, terrible meltdowns walking across campus, just trying to go to class, trying to fulfill basic commitments and responsibilities. My anxiety was debilitating that year. My eating disorder was also going crazy my senior year of college. Like, I was not okay. And that's the best that I've ever been doing. Out of the 27 years that I've been alive, I have had one good year. I spent my entire adolescence just trying not to off myself. I've spent my entire adult life trying to figure out how to maintain employment. And the fact that there are people who have known me through all of that, who are looking at me and saying, but you just need to figure out how to cope a little better, and once you do, you'll be fine and you can get back to normal, baffles me. It blows my mind, and it's enraging. I can't speak for all autistic people, but this is a sentiment that I've often heard echoed, and I don't think I'm the only person who feels this way. But when I, as an autistic person, am succeeding normatively and being productive in the ways that capitalism wants me to, I am still not doing okay. And I think that's true for a lot of us. When we are doing all of those things, it is taking everything we have, and everything behind the scenes is falling apart.